What is up, and welcome back to another episode of Blindside Sports. Happy New Year to everybody. It's been a little bit, the holidays have been kind of busy. Just, I was taking time, spend time with the family, stuff like that. Hope you guys did the same or did, what you could to have a good holiday. Emmett Douglas here. Nick Wright is also here. Get Nick on Twitter at @isNickWright. You can follow me at EmmettNoC04. And this isn't, the show that I wanted to do today. And you're like, what does that even mean? It was supposed to be when me and Nick were talking last night. All right, let's do a show. This is before what we're about to get into happened. And, I hate leading with stuff like this, but it's important. If you guys are living under a rock, which even non-football fans are, seeing this. Unfortunately, last night during the Monday Night Football game, the Buffalo Bills safety who was filling in for the injured Micah Hyde, Damar Hamlin, took a hit, got up for 2 seconds, then collapsed. He was on the field for about 30 minutes. Ambulance was on the field. They were giving him CPR. They're using the heart machine, the defibrillator, I believe it's called, to bring him back to life. And it was a big, huge, scary, just unfortunate moment for us sports fans. I mean, Nick, I'll let you go first on this one. What are your thoughts? How'd the NFL handle this? What was going through your mind during that situation? I mean, obviously we pray that the guy is okay and he, makes it and stuff like that. But, we're sports guys. We have to look at the football side of things, like what the NFL could do to fix this because they canceled the game because of, obviously the traumatic event that these players saw. So Nick, just take the floor first and then I'll go after you.
Yeah, number one, we got to get the cliche out of the way like you did. Just pray to his family. When it first happened and the first, couple commercial timeouts, I'm like, oh, man, this guy's – something happened. He tore something. Something's bad. But then when, over 5 minutes went by and the way the players, started to act, the more it went on, it was like – that was my first reaction was just kind of like, I don't think this is, so he tore something. I don't think he broke something. This is next
It was much more
level.
Yes.
And, I'm sure I haven't listened to a lot of radio today or TV stuff, but, I'm sure the whole another cliche thing is where it's like, it's completely unprecedented. You're a young kid, I'm way older than you. And, I've never seen anything like this. Guys older than me haven't seen something like this. People remember the Theismann injury where he broke his leg. There's never been something like this on this type of magnitude. And so I was just shocked. And, to think that the sport that we love the most and we watch every week, every year, and for something like this saying finally happened, it sounds really awful, when I say it out loud. But I mean, this is the first time that something like this has really happened where it's been this serious. And to actually finally see it is just still
shocking. Yeah.
It's surreal. It's like we've never seen this for someone to, I'm not going to lie to you. After it was like 20 minutes and, I heard they're doing, CPR for 9 minutes. I thought he was gone. Like I was just like, oh my God, we're going to have a death on the NFL field. And I wasn't ready for that. And, so I really do think, when it was so fresh, people were, the NFL needs to cancel this game right now. And I did see someone made a good point online. I forget which media person it was, but the fact that I think that they delayed that game was because did you notice how fast the ambulance came on that field? Man, that thing was there quick.
Yeah, so and then the medical, both the Bills and the Bengals medical team ran out onto the field. It was a different sense of urgency, right?
Yes,
like the doctors. You never see them go like that. The ambulance was literally on the field. I mean, it was crazy. I mean, keep going. I'll
for you, and I think the person who brought up a good point was that I think the NFL knew right away. I think everyone after 10 minutes, 15 minutes, when how serious it kept getting as the minutes went by, you can't play this game. There's no freaking way you can continue. I think the NFL knew that, and I think they did a good job because if they said the game is canceled, it would have been a mad dash out to the parking lot. And how the hell is the ER going to get there quickly and swiftly. And I think that may have been in preparation that the NFL did. I don't know for sure, but I think it was smart to kind of delay the game like that. So, because the ambulance, I mean, they came out and said like the ambulance got there so quick because, you know, I mean, it would have been crazy getting through that parking lot with everyone trying to leave. Well, so I think the NFL did handle this. I mean, for something that no one was ready for and we've never seen before, I think the NFL handled it well. I think Goodell canceling the game was obviously a smart decision. And I'm curious to see what's going to happen here because, I mean, again, I'm not trying to steal anyone's stuff. I'm sure it's on a lot of people's minds. But what are we going to do going forward here? I mean, are we and before I kind of transition a little bit here, do you want to say anything else about this injury or anything like that?
Yeah, because I called the Doug Gottlieb show earlier, and I said it, you know, this is the right move by the NFL canceling this game because you have to think about like this. One of your brothers, like these guys are basically brothers, they're family, you know, the Buffalo Bills players, seeing one of your family members, one of your boys go down like that and almost die. And I'll give you my reaction to, you know, this in a minute. And that's why I told Doug, I'm like, how do you expect these guys to go and play after seeing that? How do you expect the other team? How do you expect Lisa Salters down the sideline after seeing a guy almost die? Like, you can't just
impossible.
Get back to, yeah. I mean, yeah, they're going to play whatever, but they're not going to be at a high level at all. It's not going to be good football. Let them, you know, take the time, be with their team, you know, wait for the update. And, you know, that's what the NFL did. And I didn't see that point that the media member made that you were bringing up, but that is a great point. And everyone blasting the NFL for the way they handled this. I got 2 words for you. Stop it. Come on. I mean, first of all, we've never seen a situation like this. And second of all, now that you bring up what you brought up earlier, Nick, I'm starting to think that was what was going on. And it's starting to piece up for me. And I think the long-term talk and, you know, how stuff could happen in the NFL, I mean, there's going to be lots of talk. There's going to be lots of people wanting change. All of that is going to happen. And obviously you said it, we just continue to hope, you know, pray, for Damar and his family and all the people involved that in a couple hours, you know, who knows, we might get some good news and that would be cool. And in terms of scheduling this game, the NFL is $1 billion business. They're smart. They have their ways. I mean, just, it had to be done, Nick. It was one of those where you just can't let the players go out there. And also, I like the way the coaches handled this.
Yes.
Zach Taylor
was amazing. Yeah.
Yes. Zach Taylor, that was real. That was him being a real, honest, good dude. I appreciated that. And another thing that people are kind of, I mean, actually ESPN's getting pretty solid press for this, but, you know, there's still some haters. Lisa Salters, Joe Buck, Troy Aikman,
Ryan Clark was amazing too.
Booger. I'm blanking on her name, the studio girl, Susan something. All of those, everyone, the producers, all of those guys were working their butts off to get what they could get. And especially to all these guys, you know, Buck Aikman, Ryan, Booger, all these guys who were talking, like, you could have said the one wrong thing and it could have been a slip up and you could have been done. And they handled it great. They were all like remorseful. I just want to give a huge shout out to ESPN, the way they handled all of this. I mean, okay, you've seen videos of like, or, you know, heard, like, I've watched YouTube videos on the whole Hank Gathers stuff in college basketball, you know, but to see this happen in the NFL right now in 2023, I mean, it's just surreal. And ESPN handled it great. NFL handled it great. And I mean, what else can we say but thoughts and prayers out to Damar Hamlin. And, oh, yeah, how about this? How about the Bills Mafia and all the NFL fans? If you guys don't know, Damar is doing a toy charity drive. So you can donate. And
over $3 million already.
I believe it's over 4 now.
Oh, it's over 4 now. Wow.
It is just it's skyrocketing. So if you've donated to that, and if you want to donate to that, I think I might have retweeted it last night, but you can go find it on, just Google it. Just Google Damar Hamlin's foundation or look it up on Twitter or his Instagram, and you'll find it and you can donate. I mean, it's cool the community comes together like that. And I think real quickly, Nick, somebody put out a tweet last night and he Skip Bayless, and this tweet blew up. And it was basically a tweet of him saying, I mean, I don't really remember like what he said, so I'm not gonna quote it and bash his words, but it's basically, Nick, if you have it in front, if you remember like kind of what he said, like if you could summarize it better than I can, go ahead. But
about the Skip's tweet in general, do you want me to dig it up or?
Well, I can dig it up too, but
here, no. Let me just dig it up really quick. Give me 2 seconds. First of all, I even immediately tweeted out like, "What are you doing, Skip? Like, what are you doing?" Let me see. All right. Did he delete it? He might have deleted it because I'm not seeing the exact one. Okay. All right. Wait. Sorry. I know this is a bad show right now. I'm so sorry. I think he deleted it.
Really?
So I'm looking on his feed right now. Okay, here it is. No doubt the NFL is considering postponing the rest of the game, but how? ? This late in the season, a game of this magnitude is crucial to the regular season outcome. Which, ... A lot of people missed this last little part, which suddenly seems so irrelevant. So, I even admit that I kind of, was the tweet still poorly worded, bad taste? Yes. Yeah. But I think the level of him getting blasted is a little. I mean, we know who Skip Bayless is. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think he meant it like, because let's be real, Emmett. The first things first, I mean, for any normal, rational person is, okay, let's pray this guy is still alive and is going to be okay. But can we not pretend to be like, okay, if they do cancel this game, what's going to happen? And I think Skip tweeted that out a little too quickly.
That's it. Because
so it was just too soon. And I mean, and hey, honestly, I respect Shannon Sharp a lot for taking a stand because he didn't show up this morning on Undisputed. So he definitely sent a message there, and Skip had to fend for himself for 3 hours. So that was, I mean, he kind of got what he got there. So, I mean, was it poorly worded, poorly timed? Yeah, but the criticism Skip got, I think it's a little much.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a fair take to have because at first I was just like, bro, delete it. I mean, it's just embarrassing. I mean, I understand his point. I really do. But there's, first of all, you have to be really careful with what you put on social media. Then that's the main takeaway. I mean, from Skip's tweet, honestly. And second of all, just if he worded it better, I feel like if he put that, thoughts and prayers to Damar first, but it would be a lot different. And I really think that's what people was, going on about. And I'm not a Skip guy, even though I like Josh impressions, doing the Skip impressions. Those are great. But it's just, you got like Doug Gottlieb tweeted out, you got to read the room. I mean, there's a time and a place for everything. I mean, that is a complete and total fair question. I'm not going to say it's not, but I don't even think the ambulance have left the field yet. Like they left at 6:25, and this tweet. Oh no, they did leave. It was right after the ambulance left. He put this tweet out at exactly 6:30 p.m. last night.
And I don't think, obviously he didn't know that the ambulance was leaving. I don't think, at least. So
no, because that was out later. Because I had I had the TV guys on, then I had the Odd Couple, and it was Steve DeSager giving us all the updates on that.
The goat of anchors. Yep.
They had a goated crew yesterday. Man. They had John Ramos and Steve DeSager. It was a goated crew. Shout out Chris and Rob, by the way, and shout out Chris Broussard. I don't know if you saw this, Nick, but unfortunately Chris lost his father, so he's going through it too right now. So
is that was that the reason why he was out last week, huh?
Well, Rob Parker said on the show it was vacation. It was originally planned vacation, at least for the Odd Couple, but he died the 26th. So lots of prayers out to the Broussard family.
Me too. I know how that feels. So that's brutal for Broussard. That's terrible. But
after Christmas. I mean,
hey, at least I guess the best you could say is they had Christmas. So
Yep. So you go show CB some love. He deserves it. Great dude. All right. Emmett Douglas, Nick Wright on Blindside Sports. Get Nick on Twitter at @isNickWright and me at EmmettNoC04. Nick, where do you want to go next? You want to go Chargers? Or you want to go the NFL flexing the Detroit Lions-Packers game, which I think is hilarious. And I have a take on this that I'm kind of half trolling about, but I'm not at the same time. So should we go to the Lions-Packers Sunday night game?
Let's go Lions-Packers. Let's do it.
Okay.
So I have a full arsenal about the Chargers. So yeah, let's get this one out.
I'll unload, then you can unload. So if you guys don't know, the Seahawks and the Lions are in a push for the playoff for a wild card. The Seahawks had the tiebreaker. The Seahawks play the Rams on Sunday. And if the Seahawks lose to the Rams, the Lions have a chance of making the playoffs if they beat Green Bay. And this game got flexed to Sunday Night Football. But it's not guaranteed that, the Seahawks are going to lose, right? So there's like all this going around, and it's just I don't know why the game got flexed. I mean, it's really going to be so meaningless if the Seahawks, pull through and win. I mean, I don't like to sound like this guy, and I'm like 30% being, or less than that, like 20% being serious when I say this. But if the NFL, if we lose to the Rams, which, I could think it's a very real possibility. Then there's a little head scratching, like, what's going on? Like, what? Yeah,
oh, come on, you're not gonna do that.
No, I'm half trolling, but it's just funny to me, and I understand why, at the same time why they did do it. Real talk, because you got, all these TV stuff. I mean, if they had a lot more freedom, here's what I'd do: play that Seahawks Rams game early Saturday, like 1 o'clock game on Saturday, and then based on that, then go, if we lose, then go Packers Lions Sunday Night Football. But no, nothing can be that simple, Nick. I just thought it was very interesting how the NFL did that. I think they're kind of pushing their cards a little bit, because who cares about Lions Packers if there's no playoff implications? I mean, are you really just going to sit, or a lot of people got to sit through and watch a Week 18 Lions Packers game with no implications?
Real quick, Emmett, not to kind of ramrod this. I meant to put this in here before we started doing NFL stuff. Got to go back to what we were talking about earlier. Don't be surprised. I just want to put this out there before we get into our NFL stuff and for this weekend. Yeah. I am not going to be surprised. By the way, I haven't seen anyone say this. I mean, I'm sure, again, it's just the original thought in my head, not saying I'm sure a million other people thought of this. Don't be surprised if this weekend is canceled for the NFL. We can't be surprised. I mean, I think it's a real possibility Goodell shuts this weekend down. So it could be, kind of like a rollover effect of what's going to happen with that Bengals and Bills game. If they're going to call it a tie, if it's just going to be a nothing burger, we don't know. So I just want to get out of the way. Second of all right. So anything to say about that? Any? Yeah.
I think it really depends on the status of Hamlin. If it's still like the same scenario we're in by like Thursday or Friday, I don't think the odds of that are. I don't know. I just don't think it's gonna really happen. But I wouldn't. Nothing shocks me. It's just a lot of TV, deals and broadcast. Yeah. Like it's gonna. I mean, like I said earlier, the NFL is $1 billion business. They can figure. I mean, they can kind of get away with a lot of stuff, but this is just. It's huge, man. I mean, they got to figure out what to do. And also, they did postpone the Hall of Fame announcements by a day, which I think is going to get postponed by another day, unless we hear something soon about.
And Damar also, Hamlin. If I'm not mistaken, I mean, here's the thing: no matter what the NFL decides on what they're going to do with that Bengals Bills replay, or if they're just going to, if they're just going to give it like a not an eligible teams, like a draw, that pretty much gives the Chiefs the number 1 seed. And like what I said, like nothing's going to come fair about this whole situation because it's so unprecedented and it's just tragic. Yeah. So it's just, if they give each team a draw, it's just, it's going to be kind of brutal for the Bills. But again, I don't think Bills fans and Bills Mafia and, really care about that right now. So I guess that's not important. But anyway, just want to get that out of the way.
Yep, that's a good point.
Let's go. So let's So anyway, so we're gonna go. Okay. So let me go back. So you have a problem with the flexing of the Lions?
I wouldn't say I have a problem.
Because of the earlier outcome can affect the later.
Yeah, exactly. And
I get it.
That's exactly it. That's all. That was my point.
We go back to NFL marketing. I mean, come on, man. It's Aaron Rodgers with a chance to get into the play. Okay, you know what? I have to do this. And I just do it so freaking much. Do you know how bad because I knew this was going to happen. I just, like a month ago, I just knew it. I knew it right when the Packers won a game 4 weeks ago, and like there was that little, because a month ago they had like a 5% chance or something like that to make the playoffs, and they won a game, and I'm like, he's gonna do it. So anyway, as much as I bang on Aaron Rodgers, I'm one of his biggest haters. Do you really think the Lions are gonna win that game? There's no freaking way. Let's be honest. The fact that Aaron Rodgers is gonna win possibly 5 weeks in a row to get that Green Bay roster, by the way, which is nothing special at all.
Has Aaron Rodgers been like particularly great though? Like I feel like
I will say the defense has stepped up a lot, just like the Chargers. The Packers and the Chargers, the way they propelled the last month are very similar with how the defense has been great.
If Tua didn't go down the crapper in that second half of the Christmas Day game, I don't think Rodgers would have won.
I want to get in. By the way, I want to get into that later. That was from like over a week ago. That just drove me crazy when I watched a certain sports show. But we'll get into that later. But
all right.
but I gotta give. I'm gonna give two people who I can't stand their flowers in this show, and it's just killing me. Number one, I'm already gonna present it. I got a big bouquet for Rodgers at his doorstep because he's really going to drag this Packers team into the playoffs after that one of his worst years ever.
Just wait until they're down by 3 points and Aaron Rodgers has to make the comeback in the final 2 minutes of the the wild card game.
If it was I was about to say if it was in the playoffs, I wouldn't bank on it. But he's getting this team into the playoffs, and with the way the NFC looks, I want to do our picks later. By the way, of what do you think is going to happen? We're really going to get Rodgers and Brady back in the playoffs, man, when it looked like they were dead to rights a month ago. Insane.
How about Tom Brady the other day? 3 bombs to Mike Evans.
No one's talking about it. And by the way, I got killed the other day, a couple days ago, like on Twitter. Like, by the way, my better half, Nick Wright of First Things First, I said this before I watched the show, and he basically said the same thing. No, I said this to you on a show before he said this, I believe. Like I said, I think our last show was weeks ago, and I said, watch Tom Brady squeak into the playoffs barely.
You said that in like November.
Yeah.
I'll go back and pull the clip after the show. I'll text me after and I'll get it.
My better half, Nick Wright, like pretty much said it earlier, like last week on the show, like he's going to squeak into the playoffs. And guess what? Who's his competition going to be? An injured coming back Jalen Hurts, who was, he's had an MVP type of season. Not saying that, but do you remember his playoff game last year? Disaster. Who else?
He's a young guy. It happens, man. It really.
And do you know he's coming off an injury? He's going to be rusty. Like he's probably not going to play again this week, so he's going to go into the playoffs like without playing for almost a month. And then who else is in the NFC? Dak Prescott, who becomes a turnover machine now.
Like Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs, not very good, but different, not very good.
Okay, so we got turnover-worthy Dak Prescott. We got rookie Brock Purdy, and possibly Aaron Rodgers. We're gonna do our picks later. People who are Broussard. Speaking of Broussard, even like people are poo-pooing the Bucks and Tom Brady. I'm like, I just keep thinking to myself, it's been over 20 years. Do people not learn their lesson? Like, do you see the path that is laid out for Tom Brady right now? They are going to get Dallas at home in the playoffs, round 1. And people are just thinking like Dallas is just going to steamroll that game.
You know what I'm going to say? What I say about that is I don't know. I just don't like the Buccaneers team this year. Brady does Brady things.
Brady.
Yeah, Brady does.
And by the way,
Dak's going to lose that game for the Cowboys.
Everyone talks about their running game. Leonard Fournette is going to come alive eventually. Just wait. It's gonna happen.
It happens every year. Yeah.
So I'm just saying, like, okay, remember months ago, I lost all that money on that Chiefs game. And that, I say I make 2 big wagers a year. Guess what? That round 1 matchup, Brady against Dak. Oh man, I'm going to the bank there, baby. People are going to sleep on this Bucs team and just keep forgetting. I don't care. Tom Brady could be 1,000 years old until his legs fall off. I am not quitting on Tom Brady ever, 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 ever in the playoffs, no less. Yeah, so it's fascinating.
I don't know if I'm quitting on Tom Brady. And it's not what I'm saying, but I just think for example, these games are going to be lost by these quarterbacks not doing anything. Because let's go over the 49ers. They got Brock Purdy at quarterback, and they have a very, very great defense and a great offense. I mean, they're set up. So I think
it comes down something to say about that, but we can get into that later.
We still got Brock. It comes down to Brock Purdy. If you go to Eagles, you said it. Jalen Hurts coming back from an injury. Who knows what the injury is going to do to him? And we had a bet.
What was that bet, by the way? I totally forgot about that thing.
Niners in the Super Bowl. That's what you had, and it was a DoorDash bet, and I had the Eagles.
Oh, and you're the that's what it was. Okay, well,
I don't know who. We kind of keep it updated every show. I'm
feeling good.
I'm feeling a little worse than I was last time, because last time you hosted with me, it was it was 2 days after Brock Purdy had his first start against Miami. That was the last time we had that show together. It was a couple days after, and I was feeling pretty good about it. But now seeing what Brock's done the past couple weeks, and now this Hurts injury, I mean, I'm not going to quit on my bets because I don't do that, but I'm not feeling too good. I'm not.
It's just ridiculous. The Niners are ridiculous. Like how, they have Jimmy G, who got into a Super Bowl, 2 NFC Championship games. You draft Trey Lance, who looked to be pretty good until he got hurt, and then I don't know, the last pick in the draft ends up looking like a young Tom Brady. Like what? Like my wife is a big Niners fan, and I'm always annoyed. Like you guys are just like the luckiest freaking team ever.
I know. One of my good friends is a Niners fan too, so I have to battle that all the time. Just stupid luck the Niners have. I mean, you're good, like Tom, or because and then you have to. If we're gonna take to the bigger picture here, what are they gonna do in the offseason?
Right. Well, yeah, we'll cross that road eventually.
We'll talk about that in February. But
real quick though, let's do this hypothetical, because I know Tom Brady's a Bay Area guy. I mean, it looks Brady on that. But if Brock Purdy gets them to a Super Bowl, what do the Niners do between Jimmy G, Trey Lance, and Brock Purdy, and then Tom Brady's lurking in the corner too, looking at him? Like they have 4 options. Like what the hell are they gonna do?
Well, Jimmy G is for sure leaving. I think Jimmy G is gonna go to the Jets, the Texans, maybe the Raiders. I really don't know where he's gonna end up. I don't think it's gonna be a Niner. Second of all, I think you gotta. I mean, because what do you think? If the Niners were gonna trade Trey Lance, what do you think they're getting?
All right. So what do you go, like 4th overall?
3 overall.
3 over. I mean,
and you have to remember what they traded up to get him as well, to the Dolphins. So they're going to ask for more than. They're going to ask for a pretty big asking price for Trey Lance, I think, if they do go that way. And this obviously is a hypothetical. This all depends on what happens in the next coming week.
If it's a 1st round pick, it can't be more than if someone's gonna lay out a 1st round pick, it can't be much more than that, right?
I think it's
there's injury concerns. I mean, when he played it, he looked good, but he didn't blow you away. So I don't know.
But are you gonna give it's not gonna be a high 1st round pick.
No,
I'm not giving up.
Hell no.
Maybe like a 2nd and a 4th if a team with a higher 1st round pick wants him.
Oh man, I think the Niners should want a little more than that. But but here's the thing: if Brock Purdy gets you to Super Bowl, let alone maybe wins the thing, you got to take. That's pretty much just extra cash lying around that you can use. So it's just kind of like, hey, or I should say, something lying around that you can get for a lot of cash. So, why not? If Brock Purdy, it looks like the guy for the future, and it's like a Tom Brady situation where it's like, damn, this 7th round pick is really good. Huh. Okay. What
are the odds that happens? That would be crazy. And then
last pick in the draft, pure Cinderella.
Talk about story.
I mean, yeah, it's the thing. Even though, I mean, I'm kind of a Niners fan if I'm not rooting for the Chargers because of my wife. So, I mean, I wouldn't hate it. And we still have our pipe dream. I mean, if there's a Niners Chargers Super Bowl, I mean, I'm going. Straight up, I'm going to be in Arizona. But that's a topic for another day.
There's a Niners Chargers Super Bowl because I picked the chart.
I know. I remember you picked them.
Yep, and I was giving up on it, and it might have been you.
Chargers fans gave up on it. Everyone gave up on it.
Yeah, and I was telling somebody, but I'm like, I can't change my pick. I'm still gonna be like rooting for the Chargers to do good in the back of my mind. I mean, even though like the NFC, I completely switched. I was like, Eagles. I had the Eagles being good this year, but I did the Rams going to the Super Bowl. So,
well, is this a good time to transition then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Douglas, Nick Wright, Blindside Sports. Get Nick on Twitter for either very happy or very, very angry Charger tweets. Is Nick Wright.
One or the other.
Yep. No in between. So, I mean, definitely go give him a follow before the wild card, before the playoffs, because Nick's going to be on.
Oh, it's going to be level. Yeah, you got that right.
I don't even know if he'll be on Twitter after that.
Chargers haven't been in the playoffs in 4 years. Ooh, man, it's going to be something.
I mean, what, the last playoff game? You're probably on the board for somebody at Fox Sports Radio. Yeah.
God.
Probably hard.
Was I on the board? Why can't I remember? I think I was. Because I just remember that they played it. They beat Baltimore in round 1, and then they played Brady, and Joey Bosa literally even said at the name they couldn't Brady, just the way he would just get that ball out, they couldn't they just couldn't touch him. So that is what it was. But anyway, it's been 4 years. I'm hyped, and
are you?
I gave my flowers to Aaron Rodgers earlier, and it hurt. This one's going to hurt a little more. Okay, so I was probably the numero uno, as you know, biggest Brandon Staley hater in the whole entire planet.
Yeah, I'm clipping this.
Okay, he was a big reason why they didn't make the playoffs last year, and for the first half of the year. Plus, it was just he's supposed to be a defensive guru. And they were literally one of the worst defensive teams in the league once again, 2 years back-to-back under his tenure. Over the last 4 weeks, okay, so the biggest game of the year it was called the Twitter Bowl about a month ago when it was the Chargers against the Dolphins.
I hated that so much. Not gonna lie, I just hated the stupid takes.
Herbert versus Tua. Well, guess what? In hindsight, Chargers fans are on cloud 9. So we had the Chargers, Dolphins, and everyone with a brain and eyes knew that Herbert was better than Tua, but it showed on the biggest stage, and Tua looked like crap while Herbert looked amazing per usual. Okay, so that was the Twitter Bowl was run, and honestly at that point, before that game, Chargers knew that the playoffs weren't happening. We're too injured. They were the most injured team in 50 years per usual. And it was, so anyway, Herbert balled out. They win that game. Okay. So let's go to the next week. Oh, we got the Titans. Oh, by the way, just real quick, that Dolphins game only scored 17 points, held Tua pretty good. Interesting. Mm-hmm. Titans, even though they're banged up, still, at the time, Titans were pretty good. Held them to 14 points. Back-to-back wins after a brutal Raiders loss. All right, kind of interesting. But still, Chargers fans were still a little, all right, if we can win this week, that's pretty interesting. The playoffs on the line against Jeff Saturday and a crappy Colts team for the playoffs. And every single any positive Charger fan, even though this should be a layup to clinch a playoff spot, we're lying. In my heart was Chargers are going to Charger. They should win this game. But so the game was gut-wrenching. Even though the score was 20, they held them to 3 points, the Colts. I mean, I know it's Nick Foles and Jeff Saturday. 3 points is 3 points.
Three interceptions, too. I mean, you guys were owning him.
Man. So they clinch. And at that point, I had to give my props to Brandon Staley because his defense looked like the defense we were promised over a year ago. and the defense just flipped the switch. Is it because a lot of guys started getting healthy? Yeah. Excuse me. And it just finally looked like the team was coming together, even though it took a million years. So, right, we made the playoffs. And then let's just go to last week, where even though it's just the Rams and Baker Mayfield, they made a statement game and just lit everybody up. And by the way, so when they got Mike Williams and Keenan Allen back, 4-0, they just got Joey Bosa back last week. Derwin James almost killed a man.
Yeah, he smacked that guy around.
And by the way, Chargers fans who are like, it's football. I love me Derwin James. He's my second favorite player on the Chargers. That was brutal. That was excessive. He deserved to get ejected, not suspended. They better not have suspended him. But that was in today's NFL. That was like a 1975 hit from the Raiders. Like that was pure carnage. So anyway, we didn't have so the Chargers just totally turned a page, and I have to give the props to Brandon Staley, who begrudgingly, I was the first person to say that Sean Payton could be a top candidate for the Chargers coaching staff because Brandon Staley was going to lose it, and he gained it all back. And
Can
I
you
will
lose
say,
it again in the playoffs.
Say what?
All right, let's say you guys get bounced first round. Hypothetical here.
Oh, and hypothetically, first round, I personally still would move mountains to get Sean Payton, which they would do. They have to give draft capital and pay him a crap load of money. But if he gets a playoff win and they make it close in the second round, whatever. For him to drag this Chargers team to the playoffs with all the injuries, Herbert being injured himself, is pretty miraculous. It was a miraculous month. Now, people come back at me, well, you don't have many wins against winning teams. Okay, it's the NFL. It's the NFL. You play the schedule in front of you, and I don't want to hear it when the Chargers were the most injured team, like 32nd with a bullet. There was a metric that I know I shared on the show before. Like they were so low, even number 31 looked kind of nice to be there. That's how bad it was. So the fact that Herbert, to which, by the way, every media person seemed to forget, and it never happened. Justin Herbert has been playing with cracked ribs the entire season when 8 out of 10 quarterbacks would have been shut down because that's how bad it was. He can't breathe without it hurting. And he still got this team to the playoffs. Oh, and by the way, still is on he tied Dan Marino's pass touchdown record. So in his first three seasons, he has the most passing yards. He will break the touchdown record if there's a game this coming Sunday. And there's nothing more. I think he should be an MVP candidate. That's my bias talking out of me because of the circumstances. I know the record doesn't show it. The performances don't show it. But I think he should be, despite everything. And it's going to be interesting. So anyway, the point is I have to give Brandon Staley props. I can't wait to see what this Chargers team is going to look like in the playoffs. We've been waiting 2 years. Another thing that annoys me too, this is Justin Herbert's third year. There's a certain show and a certain host who keeps kind of saying that Herbert, and a lot of idiots too, Herbert's never been to the playoffs. He's right now into his third year. He's into his third year and he made the playoffs. So now guess what? The goalposts are moving. Well, Herbert better win a playoff game now. And then guess what's going to happen then? Well,
he better win a Super Bowl.
You better win the Super Bowl now. Oh, better win the Super Bowl MVP and MVP now. It's just the goalposts are going to keep moving for this certain show and a lot of people in the media to where,
just so we're on the same page. Are we talking about the guy who said he's not going to post any more Herbert stuff after the Dolphins game? I won't name him, but
yeah,
that guy, okay.
He did. And you know what's really funny? I actually have to give that certain guy credit because ever since that whole social media quarterback nonsense
kind of shut him up.
Well, the thing is that the Chargers went 4-0 since then, and the Dolphins look like they're not going to make the playoffs. So you know what?
He definitely jinxed them.
Karma unfolded how it should have. The universe presented it as it should, and yeah. And you know what bugs me about that show? Okay, I just gotta say, I worked with Joy Taylor, and I think she's fantastic. She knows her football.
Oh, Joy's great. Joy's great.
I don't know if you saw, but last week she quote tweeted me and we got into a little thing there. And
hold on, I gotta find this now. I think I saw it, but I didn't like look because
okay. Yeah. I mean, I didn't even quote tweet her. I quote tweeted the I guess I gotta say the show now, but Speak, which has the lowest ratings on its time slot in I think all of America. It's pretty telling. But I just, it was just, and then she took it and twisted it into like I'm saying Herbert is better than Mahomes. The whole thing was about, they argued there was an article that came out that is Justin Herbert the best young quarterback in the history of the NFL? And I tried to lay out the circumstances, saying that due to him coming into the league in week 2 after a freak accident of Tyrod Taylor against the Super Bowl champions, winning Rookie of the Year with literally the 32nd worst O-line in the league, with the worst coach I've ever seen in my life, Anthony Lynn, and then getting Brandon Staley, who supposedly a defensive guru who was not that year, and with the boneheaded fourth down decisions, and Joe Lombardi being the worst defensive coordinator I may have ever seen in my life, including this year as well. And then this year playing on fractured ribs, and this is now past tense, but dragging them to the playoffs. And she somehow took it that I'm saying he's better than Mahomes, and I never said that. I never said that at all. I do not think Justin Herbert is better than Mahomes in any way, shape, or form. So I had to get that out of the way. So anyway, just kept going. And, Joy Taylor has all the simps and those weirdos you see online.
Her replies.
And so that, I had to deal with all that.
Dude.
But, I mean, I know Joy. I worked with her for a little bit before she got her TV, was on TV and stuff like that. And she knows her ball and she's great. And but that was a fun little tiff. But I just almost wanted to remind her that I remember years ago when she was still Cowherd's co-host, update person, whatever, like she was out on Tua. Like she was out on Tua after 1 year. And now, she's coming back and saying like,
okay. This is
real quick too. What I wanted to do a show with you last week because after that game, when Tua, it came out later he was concussed. Remember in the fourth quarter against the Packers when he threw three picks?
We'll get to that in a little bit.
Okay. All right.
Because it's a whole nother topic that I feel like we kind of have to discuss because there's a bunch of different angles on it. But the thing that just I can't stand about now, and I must sound old, I'm not even old, but nowadays is, do people forget what a rookie quarterback is? It's like these people, and I said this on the show before, I said this on Fox before, I said this on every show I've been on, that we have a rookie quarterback conversation. Do these people forget what developing means? You don't draft a rookie quarterback and he's freaking Tom Brady or like Peyton Manning right away. It takes time. I mean, that's going to happen occasionally.
He was thrown into the fire. It's not like he even knew he was going to. I was expecting Herbert not to play for at least a year. He didn't. 5 minutes before kickoff against the Super Bowl champion Chiefs in 2020. 5 minutes before kickoff. Hey, Herbert, you're going in. And guess what? He went in there and lost in overtime and still balled out. So it's just, and you know what? I got to bring up too. Speaking of Fox FS1 people, I saw Nick Wright earlier, and I'm a big Trevor Lawrence guy too. I love Trevor Lawrence, but he said earlier that he would take Trevor Lawrence over Herbert, and he literally dismisses Trevor Lawrence's first year. He dismisses Trevor Lawrence's first year because of Urban Meyer. Well, I'm like, hold on. If you're going to take Lawrence over Herbert, when Herbert had to deal with Anthony Lynn and coming in to the league when he shouldn't have and won Rookie of the Year, I don't want to hear excuses for Lawrence. Do I think he's coming into his own now and is really developing and looking great? Yes. But you can't sit here and say you're going to take Lawrence over Herbert and dismiss Lawrence's rookie season with a bad coach when Herbert went through the same exact thing. That bugs me.
The take is wild. I mean, Nick's take that you're better half. I don't know if he's better half after that take, but it's pretty wild. But I mean, I think Urban's was worse, but still, you can't be dismissing. It happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason, man. That's what.
And that comes full circle because guess what? Guess what we're looking like in week 1, depending what happens in the Titans game. We're looking like Trevor Lawrence versus Justin Herbert round 1 of the playoffs, which is going to be fireworks. So we're going to see. We're going to see, and it's going to be great.
Oh, go Jaguars.
And
speaking of, they're going to win. They're going to win, but go Jaguars.
Jaguars against us? What do you mean?
No, against Titans.
Oh, okay. No, I'm rooting for the Titans. I don't want to play the Titans. I want to have a chance there.
Yeah,
but to go back to your earlier thing too, which is great. So the Chargers are going against the Broncos, and if they win straight up 5th seed. But and I know you're annoyed because we talked about this earlier with the flexing of the Packers-Lions game, that if the Baltimore Ravens lose, they have the 10 a.m. slot Pacific. If the Chargers play 1:30. So during that game, the Chargers Brandon Staley came out and said they're going full force and they're going to suit everyone up and they're going to go full throttle. If the Ravens lose that game, which should be about midpoint of that Charger game, we can sit everyone, because if the Ravens lose, then the Chargers are the 5th seed, so we can just rest everybody, which would be fantastic. So, yeah,
the Ravens got the
Ravens have got the the Bengals. So
yeah, they're probably I don't know though. I don't know. They were involved in what happened last night. You never know. I mean, you guys.
So yeah, I mean, hey, I'm expecting Herbert versus Lawrence first round matchup, and that's going to be something to see.
Yeah. Oh, that would be cool, man. That would be really cool. I think that just 2 top young quarterbacks are evolving into. I mean, Herbert's pretty evolved, but Herbert could take the next step in his career, and Lawrence taking the first step and proving himself. I mean, that's going to be a fun game. I mean.
And that's the thing too. Charger fans in the back of their head. I think it was week 3 or week 4 when they played Jacksonville. And
you guys got stomped.
Oh, we got curb stomped.
You were missing all your guys.
That's true, but at the same time, we still. I mean, losing 35-7, wherever the hell it was, is what it is. It was a curb stomp.
Yeah, you guys got mollywopped, but hey, we don't need to talk about that, because you guys you hopefully found your strength, and Staley hopefully found himself, and all your guys are back. So hopefully it's a different outcome.
All the health and momentum is all in the Chargers' way right now. The only thing I'm going to be praying for on Sunday is that everyone stays upright. That's all I really care about.
Yeah, and that's it. Week 18 injuries aren't good. I mean, especially for a playoff team, just you lose your guy right before the playoffs, and for the Chargers, I mean, the Ravens probably aren't winning that game, so you could sit your guys and see someone go down would just suck. But I want to get into Tua in the whole 4th quarter, 4 interceptions thing. Why don't we get into that here on Blindside Sports? If you guys are enjoying the show, leave a like, comment, share it with your friends. I know I say it, but I'm gonna be heavy on the clips. We trying to grow the show, trying to grow mine and Nick's hot takes, even though they're some of them are medium takes, they're not very hot. But Nick, so what the whole Tua thing? What do you want to get into with this? Is it like where do you want to go with this?
I just want to go back a week ago. And when Tua had, what was it? Was it 4 picks in the 4th quarter? Was that what it was?
3 or 4? Yeah.
Let me go back to it real quick. Yeah, okay. Let me see. I got it right here. Yeah, 3 picks in the 4th quarter. And when it came out way later that he was concussed and so that's like 3 concussions. Well, here's what annoys me. Like, he went in concussion protocol. Like, are we still waiting? Like, what? Is he cleared? Like, do we not have that yet? I don't.
Yeah, I think they have it yet.
So, I mean, I just want to. So, the all of last week was like, so that I got to get back into him. So, I was expecting. Again, I don't watch the show, but
you seem like your biggest fan.
Over the last month, sometimes I just gotta peep in to see. Even though I hate giving them ratings, I gotta peep in to see just exactly because they had the producers of that show, the agenda of that show. I would love to be a fly on the wall because of that clownery that must happen. But I mean, God, I've been around producing a lot now between radio and TV, and I can't imagine the clownery that happens behind the scenes in that show. But anyway, I remember seeing, when Tua threw those 3 picks between the horrendous, he was terrible forever. And then it's like, we're not even completely sure that he's concussed. Like, I want to give the Dolphins benefit of the doubt because of what happened earlier in the year when he got so rocked. There is no way that they would have kept him in the game.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, there is no way. And guess what? Guess who he shall not be? Acho really went on, and I knew this was going to happen.
Dump button. I should have dumped that, but I don't have that.
I knew this was going to happen. So the whole next day, even though I watched ESPN shows and call-in and stuff leading up to that, not one host, anybody brought up that, oh, Tua was so bad in the fourth quarter because he was probably concussed. Not one normal, rational person said that. Guess what? The whole show was about, oh, Tua must have been concussed, and that's why he threw 3 picks in the fourth quarter to lose that game. And I was like, I didn't tweet about it, and it really took everything in my power not to. And because I just couldn't really, even though I knew that was going to happen, I couldn't believe it. Like, that's what we're going to do. It's not even, it was the next day, and Acho just kept going on about, I mean, once you're concussed, I mean, you're not going to make the right decisions. No, it's not because Tua is a mediocre to bad quarterback. We're surrounded by a great team that he can't elevate. Nope, must be the concussions. That's like,
I mean,
what has happened? What has happened to sports media? Like, they just let anybody go on TV. It's like, I wanted to blow my brains out. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, not the agenda. That's why I come back to, I want to be a fly on the wall, because not one rational, normal person with a brain is going to make an excuse for Tua except for that show. Because, like, Emmett, I've been watching sports TV and radio for a long time. Like, besides Skip Bayless, like, and he knows what he's putting out. I've never seen a TV show and people on a show. It's like the agenda and script is in your face. It's like the most obvious thing in the world what they're doing. And again, that day after the Tua thing, not one mention about Herbert, nothing about Herbert out. And again, going back to when they played the Dolphins, not one mention about Herbert outplaying Tua incredibly against when the Chargers and the Dolphins played. Like, it's just, I've been watching sports TV for so long. Like, we're just in an age of just, and by the way, I'm not even going to get into First Take and the clowns over at ESPN. God. It's like, it is just,
that's even worse.
Like, there's no limit anymore to, like, you can literally lie to people. Like, I could lie right now. It's like they're lying to your face just for a click, or like to rile you up, even though they're wrong in your face, and try to make something that isn't there, and vice versa. I really just am disgusted at sports media these days. It's just nonsense.
It's just bad, yeah. And for the whole Tua thing, I hope the Dolphins aren't that stupid, and I don't think they are too. I mean, did we just not tell anyone that he was concussed? I mean, I think if anything, it happened at practice on Monday. I mean, there's no way the Dolphins are that stupid to just come in there.
Well, I mean, there was a play in like the second quarter, I think, where his head hit the turf pretty bad. I think that's what they're referring to.
So do you think he just didn't say anything, and then because he wanted to play? Like, where I'm like,
they hire people to look out for that happening.
That's what I was just going to bring up.
They have tents for that. I don't think.
Yeah, they call players out if they don't like a hit they saw.
And by the way, it's been over a week and there's nothing. And like, I'm just waiting to see like is he how is he really, like, no one's saying if he's really horribly concussed or not, and like there's nothing out. So I don't know. All I know is the Dolphins started 8-3. Prayers up to Tua, and I hope he's okay. But I mean, if the Dolphins miss the playoffs, man, I tweeted this weeks ago. I don't care if Tua is not out there or not. I'm gonna be ruthless. I'm gonna be ruthless because Dolphins fans are one of the most despicable fan bases in all of sports, and I am
really. That's a hot take.
No, it's not. Oh, it's not even close.
Raiders, Boston fans.
I know. I said one of. Okay. New York fans, of course.
New York are brutal. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I'm just saying, like,
all right, okay. And just to clarify, Dolphins fans, this isn't directed at Arnie Spanier, right?
Or Brian. No, Brian. No, let me have it the other day too. No, it's not directed at them at all. It's just, there's a stupid war that's been raging for years now about Tua and Herbert, and the Dolphins. The Dolphins fans are so mad because they know deep down in their heart that they wish they had Herbert and not Tua. Every single Dolphins fan knows that. Every single one of them, and they act out and lash out in just being frustrated at Chargers fans because they know that they got the wrong quarterback, and it's going to sit with them while Herbert's going to win Super Bowls with the Chargers for 20, 15 years, hopefully, they're going to have Tua, who might not be in the league very soon.
Wow. And, there's more, deep talk to the Tua thing. Like, what's going to happen with his career, all this concussion stuff. There's a lot going on there. Who knows what's going to happen with Tua? But I want to get into the Seattle Seahawks here, and just want to talk about their performance as of late, because they played Mike White in the Jets on Sunday, and they mollywatched them 23-6. But at the Jets, I mean, I knew we were gonna stop Mike White, and I said that to a lot of people.
I knew a month ago the Jets weren't making the playoffs. That was such a
right joke. When Breece Hall tore his ACL, it was over.
Yeah,
and week 8. It was when he tore his ACL, and that's when I knew. I was like, yeah, they're frauds. I said they're frauds, when we first started doing this a while ago. And it's just the Seahawks, they did, they 23, and it's not, like I said, and I've said it before, but you keep having you got to hammer the drum. And I'm going to hammer the drum this weekend too, but that running defense is crucial. Cam Akers has started to come into his own again in the past couple weeks. He dropped 3 rushing touchdowns on Denver, had a solid game last week. Our horrible, just god-awful run defense, I mean, I think we're going to lose against the Rams.
So you can't, come on, man. You got to be positive. You're at home. The Rams stink. They have nothing to play for.
But you think the Rams, Bobby Wagner's going to have something to play for. That game means something to him. He's going to be riling up that defense. And I just I can't trust our defense to stop run.
Real quick, run me back here, because what did the Seahawks have to beat the Rams, right? Obviously. So, what else has to happen? What else has to happen for you to make the playoffs?
So, we beat the Jets, and then we have to have the Rams, and then the Commanders lost last week. So right. I it's so confusing. I think we have the tiebreaker over Detroit because we beat them. So I think we just have to beat LA. If I'm wrong on that, let me know. But I think probably another team has to lose, and then we obviously have to win. I mean, I
think the Lions. I think you should be rooting for Green Bay, if I'm not mistaken. I think you need the Lions. So yeah, I mean,
if both of us lose, though, I don't know how that's going to work. That's Green Bay gets in, right?
Yeah.
So Green Bay. So yeah, go Green Bay. But even then, I don't think, as long as we win, it's not going to matter because we got that tiebreaker.
Right. Hey, just beat LA.
Detroit early in the year.
I mean, hey, the Chargers barely even tried, and we set our starters in the middle of the third quarter, I think. So, I mean, I think, hey, Geno Smith's been money all year. I'm going to have hope for you guys. I have hope for you that Geno Smith is going to get it done when he needs.
I'm not worried about Geno, actually. I know Geno can do it. I know K9, Ken Walker. He's going to run the ball like a beast in the playoffs. We got Tyler Lockett back after missing a game. I mean, it's on the upwards for the offense. It's just that run defense I'm worried about. I like our secondary. I do. I like Tariq Woolen. I like Kobe Bryant. I like Michael Jackson. I like all those guys. And also Jordan Brooks tearing his ACL. That's kind of devastating for that defense. I mean, I don't know how big of a deal it's really going to be, but it's definitely the opposite of what we needed.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, man, I mean, it's only Baker Mayfield on the road. I think you guys can do it. I hope you can do it.
This could be the really one game. So. I mean, I think feeling.
I think Pete Carroll. Oh man. Well, yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, as a Charger fan, I'm always pessimistic, so I guess I get it. But I got to think that Pete Carroll is gonna have them ready to go. So.
Yeah. There's gonna be a lot. The
only thing you have to worry about is like Baker Mayfield wants to play for a job, so he wants to keep even though he was terrible against the Chargers. I mean, he was terrible against the Chargers. I mean, I think like the Chargers had like 2 drop picks from him even, and he still played bad. So it's just. I just have to hope that Pete Carroll's gonna have them ready to go.
Yeah, that is key. And I was asking Bernie Fratto about like the odds of us making the playoffs. And he's like, he said perfectly. Before the Jets game, the Seahawks can only afford to take it 1 week at a time. We can't think ahead to next week. This Rams game, I get the Rams are playing for nothing, but players are playing for reasons there. Bobby Wagner first time back in Seattle. Baker Mayfield's fighting for his NFL career and job right now. If he stinks the bed up in Seattle, if he stinks it up, who knows what's going to happen to him next year. But if he plays all right, are good, then I mean that's on the come up for Baker. So it's a very key game. The Rams are going to come to play, but I think the Seahawks knowing and Pete Carroll knowing, and this is where Pete Carroll always proves me wrong, and him knowing that this is a game that we can make the playoffs, he's going to put his best guys and he's going to make his best game plan he can possibly make.
I guarantee in the back of his mind, like, I know obviously it's not his first priority, I'm sure, but he knows that he's coach of the year with a bullet if the Seahawks make the playoffs. So I mean, that's gotta, I'm sure he's gonna bring it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and I know Pete Carroll's gonna have a good game. I know Geno's gonna have a good game. I mean, Baker's not. It's Baker. I think we could stop that too. It's that run and that defensive line. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. So I mean, time will only tell. We'll have to wait till Sunday if Sunday happens. For the NFL. Right. And yeah, that's just that I don't know. I think we could make some noise in the playoffs. I don't see us going too far because if we play like a proven running back, it's over. But then again, Pete Carroll knows how to adjust. And if Pete Carroll finds something in practice that works in the next couple weeks, even if we do win, he's gonna latch onto that like full on, and it's gonna be completely different. Pete Carroll sometimes finds these just random, success points on his team and runs with it. So I mean, that could happen too. You never know what's gonna happen. That's why, football is how it is.
Yeah.
Emmett Douglas and Nick Wright. How about Donovan Mitchell last night? I mean, no one
poor
talked
guy.
about this.
I mean, poor guy. Could he have picked? It's literally one of the best regular season NBA games in the history of the NBA, and he picked literally the one night to where
the dude has cardiac arrest on the football.
Like field. It was the biggest.
I
mean, it's crazy. I mean, the Cavs. My God. I mean, they look good. They look good. I was never big on Donovan Mitchell. I mean, he's a good player, but just, man, I thought, leaving Utah and going to the Cleveland, I didn't think that was going to be like a big thing. And man, Cleveland's looking good. I mean, the East has a lot of good teams. East has a lot of good teams. Oh, we say LeBron?
Yeah, LeBron.
Yeah. By the way, LeBron has 2 straight games dropping 40 plus. The one on his birthday.
LeBron, LeBron, he still has it. That's not what I'm saying. But I don't know if you saw what Darvin Ham put out earlier today.
Yes, I did.
It's stupid. I mean,
it was really get it. Bad, but
I get it. But you have to beat this 38-year-old guy who's already missing time because he's sore.
I hate it.
You can't fault LeBron for that. He's a 38-year-old man who's been playing.
He said he's going to ride him. He said he's going to ride him 40 minutes because he can take it. I'm like, what are you?
His legs going to get hurt.
I know. Like, he just can't keep up. By the way, if LeBron does keep this up, I don't want to hear about the MVP discussion ever. If LeBron keeps dropping 40 like this, at this, and by the way, his age, I think I said this did I say it last year or 2 years? I can't remember when I said it, but like LeBron's age matters at this point. Like when it comes to, and oh my God, by the way, just real quick before we keep going about LeBron, when I keep seeing these MVP updates by voters, and I see Jokic at the top. First of all, I don't think Jokic should have any MVPs in his arsenal right now at all. I think I'd rather watch paint dry than watch Jokic play basketball. So that's what if Jokic wins 3 MVPs in a row, I tweeted this. The MVP award doesn't matter anymore. There's only a couple guys who 3-peated MVP, right? Like I want to say it was like Bill Russell and it's just old, top of the line OGs. Old Jokic. No one's gonna remember Jokic 20 years from now, man. No one's gonna. He is. Oh man. Okay. Do you want to know a hot take? And I've always said this on radio, and I'm ashamed. Yep. He's gonna be the Tim Duncan of this era. Tim Duncan was the most boring freaking player. Is he great? Old-time power forward? Yeah. Sure. I would, again, rather watch paint dry than watch some of those Spurs teams despite winning titles. Jokic is the most boring player to watch. All Tim Duncan is just sit in the paint, little 4-foot fadeaway. That's all Jokic and him does. He's not an... He's not an MVP, man. That's what's different. He's not an MVP. I don't want to hear it.
Anyone who's talking about this MVP stuff, today's January 3rd. Stop it. I mean, we're not even come on, we're in January.
Luka and KD are to me. Luka, KD, and Giannis are way ahead of Jokic in the MVP right now.
Bro, Luka's been going off. I mean,
Luka's just a freak.
Yeah.
There is no way. And my counterpart Nick Wright said a little while ago, I think last week, how he's a bigger Jokic hair than I am. And he even said he thinks Jokic is the MVP this year. He doesn't agree like me. He should have won the last 2 years. But statistically, metrically, he's better this year than he was in his first 2 MVP years, which is crazy enough to think about. Which is even more baffling. How the hell did he win? It's man. So yeah, I mean,
it was Giannis last year, right? That was the second guy, right? I believe
Giannis should have easily won last year. It's not even.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. But anyway,
I mean,
LeBron James. Yeah.
LeBron. Go ahead.
No, LeBron James. I mean, what is Darvin Ham, 38-year-old LeBron, who's now officially injury prone? Can we say that in his career? He is.
And you can't blame him. He's 38.
Yes. This is besides Tom Brady, and because the quarterback position and LeBron is 2 different worlds. But I mean, is this not the greatest 20th season in sports history? He's playing like he's 25 years old still. And he
has to miss a bunch of games, but he's still doing it.
And I mean, the Lakers I think they sneakily won their last few games. They're kind of creeping back up into the play-in race. But I mean, it's still LeBron is playing out of his mind like this.
And they said AD's on the right track. Right.
I
saw that a couple days ago.
If they can just kind of stay afloat until AD comes back, like I said, I think the best Lakers are going to get is a play-in spot. But you cannot have LeBron playing 40 minutes a night at 38 years old. You just can't.
I know.
You can't do it. It's ridiculous. I love seeing LeBron. I love seeing LeBron drop 40. It's a spectacle to see. But those wheels are going to fall off quick if he keeps playing 40 minents.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's going to come back and bite Darvin Ham and the Lakers in the butt because they don't have anything. They don't have anything. No draft picks, none of that. So if LeBron's done, the Lakers are done, and they're not going to be able to do anything about it for a while. I mean, they got their 2027, their 2029 picks. People are saying trade that.
Trade what?
Their 2027 and 2029 first round.
Yes. What do you mean? Yes, you trade those. First of all, people in the NBA barely pan out, and that's years away from now. Yes, while you have I'm going to say it. When you have the greatest player in the history of basketball, you try to. I mean, if you don't make the playoffs this year, Colin Cowherd got. You know who Funhouse is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
they hate our guy Roberto. They hate Roberto. They're
yeah, I'm very aware of that.
Oh my god.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not gonna get into that, but he always gets Cowherd, but Cowherd last week was going on about how they should trade LeBron. It's you can't trade him this year. So I don't know what the hell Cowherd and his producers were doing that day. But I mean, if the Lakers don't even if they don't make any noise in the playoffs, I mean, I don't even know if they're going to get there, to be honest. But LeBron's definitely out of here after this year. If they don't make the playoffs, he is gone.
I think he's retiring.
Right now,
going to another team.
What?
Retiring or going to a whole nother?
No, he's going. He's going to make his pipe dream happen and play when his son, when Bronny gets in the league. I believe that. And with the way LeBron is looking right now, I mean, he's not going to retire. He's got another couple years left in him, and that's insane to say. But it looks like he has a couple more years left in those legs. And, I don't want to hear about a first-round pick 3 and 4 years from now. I don't care. 5 years. I don't
5 years from now, when that's going to be 43-year-old LeBron, AD, and Westbrook are going to be getting up there. I mean, I get it, but then the other counteract, playing devil's advocate here, the Lakers, Los Angeles, people love it down there. So I mean that's their only saving grace, and they have to hope that players are going to continually want to go to LA and play down there. That comes to my point too. Those days are done. I mean, who was it who I heard earlier? It was someone on Fox. I can't remember who, but I mean, I'm always going to be a Lakers diehard, but kids not, 14, 15 plus going up. I mean, besides the Lakers winning in the bubble year, and they have, I mean,
the Lakers aren't a sexy team to kids.
And it's not going to be
up-and-coming athletes. Like they're not.
It's not going to be the Lakers. It's going to be the market of LA. That's what's going to be more sexy. I completely
and I don't know. I think there's other teams out there who have other young kids coming up. Like I think young kids want to play with John Morant or Luka, and I think the whole allure of the Lakers franchise, I think, is not as hot as it used to be. Not even close, actually. So that's why, coming to my point, I don't care about picks years from now. The Lakers went a whole decade from after Kobe with with Jeremy Lin and other scrubs like that. And like Nick the Lakers Young. Are so popular. They're always going to be popular. They're always going to be Team LA. The Clippers can win 5 championships. They're never going to be more popular than the Lakers in LA.
It's just the historic part of the Lakers. And then the Clippers have no history. I mean, the biggest storyline from the Clippers was when Clipper Darrell got knocked out, unfortunately. Which
by the way, I have a Clipper Darrell. I'm cool.
I like Clipper Darrell.
He wished me happy birthday years ago, on LinkedIn randomly. I've talked with Clipper Darrell online before. He's cool. And by the way, that security guard, I don't want. I wish the worst things for that guy.
Yeah, and that's why I said that on Ben Maller when it happened. I was like, this guy is just a bum, man. I mean, you can't. Come on, I understand Clippers fans like Ben Maller, Clipper Darrell can be annoying. I don't know what started it, and it's none of our business. But that was a fun call.
God,
yeah. He slumped him.
It's Clipper Darrell didn't do anything. It was just disgusting. It was crazy.
Yeah, is there any? I haven't seen an update on this. So is there any updates on Clipper Darrell? I'm gonna have to ask Ben. That's what.
Yeah, I mean Clipper Darrell. I mean, I remember. I listened to Mason in Ireland, and they have this lawyer, Jacob and Rami, who's a big, lawyer in LA, who comes on and said Clipper Darrell has a case to sue this guy. And I hope he does.
Big case. Yeah. He's gonna if he wants to, he's getting paid. I mean, there's obviously logistics to that. Does he include the Clippers in on the lawsuit or the arena? There's a whole bunch, but
probably the arena, but yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. And back to LeBron, I think the Lakers they're eyeing Zach LaVine. I think that's who they're looking at because that's the only.
I mean, I don't know. We need shooters. He's not really a shooter,
but I mean, at this point, it's who LeBron is gonna. I think LeBron's gonna have some impact on if the Lakers make a trade. LeBron's gonna be involved in who they trade for.
Well, and by the way, I mean, as much as I've said, how LeBron deserves better, got to remind people he put himself in this hole too. Clutch put themselves in this hole too. Even though Jeannie Buss and Rob Pelinka have run this organization into the ground, LeBron was a little tiny part of that too. We can't forget that. So that's why I don't feel totally bad for LeBron.
Yeah, he was the one who wanted Westbrook. They met up before the trade, him, Westbrook, and AD, and had a boys meeting. Westbrook, I like, his triple double. I like all that. But that was the last thing the Lakers needed. Was a guy like Westbrook. They need a shooter.
Him coming off in his little role coming off the bench right now is working out pretty good. I mean, I think he's a 6th man of the year candidate right now. So I mean,
he's doing great, but man, that's a lot of money for a 6th man.
I know. Oh, I remember me and Jason McIntyre 5 years ago. We just had battles about Westbrook and Harden. We just because I mean I always was a big Westbrook guy, and I always will be. And we were just going back because I still think his back-to-back averaging a triple-double is still one of the most underrated stats in sports history. I think it's absolutely ridiculous, and people are forgetting that already. And hopefully in the future, people will remember in this day and age how athletic people slobbered over Oscar Robertson, who played against guys who looks just like me in the NBA, averaged a triple-double, and he's anointed one of the best point guards of all time. And Russell Westbrook averages a triple-double in 2. Think about that. A triple-double every single night for 2 years. That's stupid. And people don't appreciate that enough. That's just me about Russell Westbrook. But
I like Westbrook too. It's just the Lakers aren't him. I mean, I think he's still been dropping triple doubles. I can't talk if he never went to the Lakers. I mean, it's just but you can't look at that. I mean, you just gotta look at now the Lakers. they're taking the big risk. They're riding LeBron 40 minutes a night. You got Westbrook off the bench. You could make a play for a shooter. You got those 2 picks. If the Lakers are trying to do that, I don't know if they're trying to do that or not. AD's on the up and coming, but there's been so much conflicting information about the AD injury. I really don't know like when we could see him back.
Yeah, I mean, I know. I always expect the worst when it comes to AD. We'll see, but right. I mean, I believe the Lakers are still 4 games under 500, so they're creeping. They won the last couple games, but I don't have hopes because we're, what are we like halfway through the season ish, roughly?
About a couple months.
So I mean,
about 3 months in, coming up a couple weeks.
If they can somehow, some way, hover around 500, maybe 2 games below 500, and AD comes back, I'll feel a little better. But if LeBron has to work this hard, this early in the season, and it's not going to hold up.
That's my point, and that's the issue I had with Darvin Ham's statement. Right now, okay, yeah, it could work fine. I mean, maybe he's rested, maybe he's feeling good. Got a little pep in his step from his 38th birthday, but. You got to think about later. How's his body going to feel in March after doing this for a while when AD's been out?
No, it's going to be. I mean, he's going to be
struggling.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine if like LeBron like averages almost 40 minutes for the rest of the year, and then go into the play-in? Maybe they win the play-in
I'd
game.
rather have the 40
then the playoffs start
in the playoffs. Yeah.
I mean. But I mean, for them to even try to make the playoffs, LeBron knows he has to put in this work this hard. And
LeBron's going to be on it next. Yeah.
The only plus side is the West looks at this point in the season, the West looks a little kind of like anyone can win the West, kind of.
The East is a powerhouse. Which is
the East is rare. I know. Oh, well, yeah. When was the last time the East? Like everyone pretty much assumes that either the Bucks or the Nets are going to win, or the Celtics are going to win it all this year. No one's even contemplating someone from the West challenging one of the big teams from the East. So it's interesting.
Yeah, and it's usually the West who does who's challenging.
But I will say, in my humble opinion, even though I think I did pick the Clippers to win it all this year. I mean, I really think the Warriors, literally as average as they are statistically, like they're amazing at home and terrible on the road. I just think they're pacing themselves for the playoffs. Like they know they're going to make the playoffs, and Clay is heating up. I think Clay dropped a 50 burger last night too. And
worst time to drop a 50 burger.
Yeah. Like two all-time great performances in the NBA regular season on a terrible night for sports. Yeah, it's wild.
And, you have to wonder too. This whole Luka dropped, his 60-point triple-double or whatever last week. That was not talked about at all.
I know. I mean, I know. It's ridiculous. And I was watching a segment today where people are arguing whether Mitchell's 71 was more impressive. Luka's 60-point triple-double is way more impressive than 71, even though 71 is incredible.
70, okay, yes.
It's Luka's 60-point triple-double is way better than Donovan's
60 points triple-double. That's 10 out of 10.
Statistically, that's never happened in the NBA before.
And I don't know if it will happen again.
We both watch First Things First. But I think the biggest, I hate to name drop and just put myself out. Kevin Wildes is the biggest dope in sports TV. I can't, I love Nick. I love Broussard. He is the biggest, he is the worst person. He literally ever since I've been watching the show, everything he says, I'm like opposite on. He bashes Herbert but praises Mac Jones, and it's just
you can't do
it's crazy. But anyway, I had to call that guy out because he, out of all the people, we talked a lot about bad sports TV today, and he is the creme de la frickin' creme. So anyway, just have to say
because if you I watched the clips that the First Things First producers put out on Twitter. It's all the clips are this. I know it's bad, and I'm sorry to the First Things First people out there, but man, I feel like the only clips I see of Kevin are just Brew and Nick just going in on him, just absolutely messing with him.
He has the worst opinions I've ever seen of anybody in my life.
They never highlight his takes, man. Literally,
Kevin Wildes. I know Kevin Wildes will never see this. If you do, I'm sorry. I don't hate you as a person.
Follow me on Twitter. No, I'm playing.
No, but like literally, like last year he had the Magic going to the finals, and like this year, and they were literally the worst team in the league. This year he had the Cardinals and the Raiders in the Super Bowl, and like I forgot what his NBA. Like he literally, and that's just a couple things on the top of my head. Like he's stupid as
Who has the Cardinals getting to the Super Bowl?
That was his picks. I remember their picks at the beginning of the year. I mean,
the Raiders. I know you're gonna disagree, but that one made like a little bit of sense, just a little bit. But the Cardinals,
I get it. Getting Devontae Adams, I get it. But you're still in the AFC West when the Chargers and Chiefs got better, and the Denver Broncos got Russell Wilson. In the beginning of the season, that looked absolutely asinine. But
how about the Chiefs, man? I mean, they're keeping a lot of these games a lot closer than.
By the way, can we just stop? Whenever I hear MVP, Mahomes is the MVP, and it's not even. There's not even a second place to me. It's not even freaking
if Jalen
close.
Hurts wasn't injured for 2 games, it would be him. But now that Jalen
Hurts I disagree with that. I disagree with that. I think it would have been Mahomes no matter what. I really do.
No,
Mahomes is ridiculous. Losing Tyreek, and he's still putting up 5,000 yards and making guys that you've never heard of before look great. As much as I'm a Charger fan, and I obviously hate the Chiefs, but the begrudging respect I have for Mahomes. He's the best.
Oh, Mahomes is crazy.
He's the best quarterback I've ever seen in my life. Will he ever catch Tom Brady's 7 rings? No one will ever catch Tom Brady's, 7 right now. No one will ever catch 7 rings. But
if anyone's going to catch it right now, and I'd be confident saying who it would be Mahomes.
Yes.
But I don't think it's going to happen. I mean,
it's never wild. No one. I don't think anyone's going to touch 5, to be honest. I mean, I could see Mahomes going down with 4. But I don't think anyone's going to get 5+. There's no way.
And what was the score that Chiefs Broncos game the other day? I mean,
30-20 overtime, 30-27, I believe.
Yes. Why are the Broncos, Mahomes, and the Chiefs biggest just the Broncos bring it in KC? I mean, Russell Wilson,
they have nothing to play for. It's interdivision. Like it's always tough between an AFC West matchup. I mean, I wasn't shocked by it. That's why I won't be shocked if the Chargers lose on Sunday. Like they have Russell Wilson has nothing to play for except for to maybe make him look a little better than what he's been all year. So I mean, I could see him trying to screw over the Chargers for the 5th seed. I don't know. That doesn't shock me.
It's just both these games. I'm not talking about just the one in 4 or 5 weeks ago. The one where I believe if Russell didn't get hurt, they probably would have won that. I mean, that was a game where the first ever game and like the only game besides the other Kansas City game that the Broncos looked like a real football team on offense.
Yeah.
So that's why, and I think Mahomes, he still got it. I'm in no way am I dissing on Mahomes. It's just something that CNR and FSR do, things that make you go, watching that on the Red Zone channel and like paying attention to that game made me just how close, both these Broncos Chiefs games have made me go, I mean, it's very interesting, and the Chiefs have kept it close. I mean, their win against Seattle wasn't convincing, but it was a good win. I mean, the Seahawks just weren't there. The Chiefs, they had the advantage. It was cold weather. Isaiah Pacheco burned us.
The Broncos, I had the Broncos winning the AFC West at the beginning of the year.
I remember that, yeah.
And guess what? If Russell Wilson played anything like he was even just a year prior, they probably would have, but I don't know what happened because that's how good the Broncos defense have been.
Well, let's look at the stats we brought up a couple months ago on this show. And this was as of week 8, or like week 11, like around that, like in that time frame. I don't remember the exact like week it was when we said this, but if the Broncos offense scored more than I believe 17, they would have won
10 wins. I remember that. That was that was like a month ago. They would have had 10 wins at the time if they just scored more than 17 points.
Yes, and look at Nathaniel Hackett getting fired. I think that was the right move. It kind of funny how they did it, the day after Christmas, after getting absolutely embarrassed on prime time on Christmas.
It's rare that you can watch a team blatantly quit and not play. And like that Broncos team against the
Rams, yes. Cam Akers had 3 touchdowns in that game, and Baker looked like freaking Mahomes.
That defense,
it was crazy.
That defense like stops teams to 20 points every week, and that week they're like, "Nah, we're over it today. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Baker.
they're like, nah, we're good. And then giving up more than 20 points to the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, 2 weeks in a row. I think they're just like, we're gonna rest. We're gonna wait till next year.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, and by the way,
what do they have to play for? They don't even have their draft pick. Like they don't have an official coach yet either. They have nothing to play for.
And and by the way, have you heard the rumblings that sounds like there's some rumors that the Broncos want to throw money at Jim Harbaugh. So that's going to be interesting.
Yes. The Panthers also met up with Jim Harbaugh today as well.
Hey, as long as Sean Payton doesn't go to the Broncos, I'm good. If Harbaugh going there is a little bit
Harbaugh
of
just choking.
I'll raise my eyebrows a little bit because I don't think Russell Wilson is completely gone. I mean, he made Kaepernick a good quarterback. So, I mean, could he turn around Russell? I don't know, but I'm not too worried about it.
I wouldn't be either. Just seeing how Russell's looked, and seeing how he looked at Seattle, I can't say if he's washed or not yet. I mean, the Denver, it was just such a bleep show. If next year, that's when I can tell if he's washed. But at this point, he's not a top 10 quarterback. Did you see people, Broncos fans? A couple of them said this, and people on Twitter, and I maybe a low key sports show. I haven't seen it. But there are some people out there who still think Russ is a top 10 quarterback in the league right now, just from what he's done in Seattle.
Yeah, that's just nonsense. It's nonsense.
Yeah, it is. Emmett Douglas, Nick Wright, Blindside Sports. Super good show today, Nick. Before we get out here, you got anything else you want to throw at me? Or
no, I think
Thursday we can do.
I got all my Charger energy out of the way.
Got my Seahawks.
Feeling really good. We're going back to the playoffs, and I'm still not over that high yet. Good. I hope we still have football this weekend. If we don't, I think everyone should hopefully understand. But if we do, good luck to your Seahawks. I expect you guys to make the playoffs.
Good luck. And yeah, it's going to be, if we do have football, it's going to be a pretty fun weekend, man. I'm looking forward to the football weekend that could possibly happen. And like I said, if you guys weren't, paying attention earlier, or you just got here, whatever the case is, however you may be, Nick brought up the point earlier that the NFL could cancel the games, this weekend to make everything just go more smooth. And also, I think that, like I was telling Nick, it depends on the case of Damar. It really does, because if we get an update like today or tomorrow or even Thursday, he's not in this medically induced coma or whatever, incubator or whatever they're calling it. He's on the come up. Then I think it could be different. But if he's still, not doing too well, not a lot of improvement, I think the Bills players are still going to be a little traumatized and all that. So I don't know what's going to happen. Stay tuned to like our Twitters, because we'll be tweeting about it, and stay tuned to all the big dogs, Ian Rappaport, because I'm sure it's easy to find breaking news. But if the NFL, we're going to have to come back at some point before Sunday, because there's just a lot of, what ifs that we got to figure out, because there's going to be more stuff that comes, about this Damar Hamlin story. And there's, what's going to I feel like in a couple days, they might figure out what's going to happen with that Bills game, what their plan is going to be, like for in terms of like the playoffs and all that. So it's going to be a big sports day, or big sports, week. Like, we're going to have lots to talk about. So stay tuned, because to our Twitters and to the show, because we have a lot to talk about. So is that pretty fair, Nick?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So we'll get back here hopefully by the end of the week. And if there's any update on what's going to happen this weekend, if everything's, ready to roll this weekend, I think we'll be back. So it's kind of we're all in a wait and see process right now. Yep.
This has been a very good show. If you guys missed anything, just leave a like, and I'll be posting clips, because there's a lot, to kind of digest here from what we talked about today, kind of all over the place, but a good show. If you guys enjoyed it, just show the love. Go follow Nick on Twitter. Go follow me on Twitter. Go follow the show on Instagram, Blindside Sports 00, and stay tuned to the YouTube for when we go live next. Turn on the notifications. If you guys enjoyed this, thank you for watching. Happy New Year. It's like the last time we can ever say this.
I know. Happy New Year's.
Yep.
All right. See you guys.